Madam Speaker, let me start out by saying, Madam Speaker, that I'm happy to being able to participate in the budget debate. At some stage, I was apprehending the fact that maybe I would not be able to, but I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to see you again, Madam Speaker.
I'm sure.
I've missed your presence, I must admit, and I'm not being sarcastic in
I'm sure.
All of us, life happens, there are ups and downs, there are exits, there are entries. I exited, now I'm back. And on that score, may I immediately take this opportunity to address to you a very important issue, Madam Speaker, through you to other members. And it's as follows. I mean, at the last occasion when I was expelled and named, on that particular day, if I'm not mistaken, I also, whilst not admitting any liability whatsoever, if I use the legal terminology, I also was wrong in one element when I used very unparliamentary language. And I say so even though it's not on Hansard. A lot of people have asked me, why do I apologize for something I've done when it's not on Hansard? I apologize for something I do even though it's not on Hansard because it was simply wrong. What I said, words used à l'encontre du député Ratner, were very wrong on my part, and that's why I apologized on Facebook. I apologize here in public. Where I wronged him, I said here that was wrong. And I once again apologize for what I said. It was very unbecoming and unparliamentary on my part. Now, having said that, thank you. I hope it's not the only time that government members applaud what I say. I hope it comes again. It's nice to see that there are friends on the other side who are very ready to advise me as far as behavior is concerned, but I thank them for their good thoughts and kind thoughts. However, let me get back to issues which concern us. I've listened with a lot of interest to our good friend with whom I share the legal profession with, the Minister Rupan. And I must say that there are certain parts of his speech that he made reference to. He said bush à bush, something to do with bush à bush. I mean, I thought that I don't know exactly what he meant. He made reference to bush à bush. I thought that someone who was unconscious or required some sort of emergency bush à bush. But I didn't really understand what he meant by that. Maybe he tried, it was not very clear. But he was very critical about the MMM. Let me put it very clearly. You know, I am not a member of the MMM. I am a brief for the MMM. But once upon a time, true it is, we were in alliance, just the same way we were in alliance once upon a time with the MSM. And I also was a member of the MSM at one point in time. But for that matter, I find it very improper to hear the Honorable Rupan be so critical about the MMM as though they have never been in alliance. I mean, if he was critical about the policies of the MMM, fair enough. But he is not the policies of the MMM. He's very vindicative about the personalities belonging to the MMM. Just like he forgets, strangely, I do not know why he forgets. Maybe I'll try to help him out. I'm not in any way trying to give lessons, but it's just a remark and a humble remark on my part. Thank you for noticing. Thank you. I'm just trying to say that he forgets when he is very critical about persons in the Labour Party. He's not critical about the policies of the Labour Party, but in everything he says, and coming from the House, they make things very personal. And the thrush people in person is it's unfortunate. What we should do is recenter everything around the real issues. And this is what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try not to be personal at all in my attacks. And if I am, that you bring me back to order, I will bow to what you say, Madam Speaker. Now, as far as the International Court of Justice issue being binding or not binding, and when there is an invitation on the part of the Honourable Minister to join them, he says, join us. We should act as one nation, and as far as this issue about our sovereignty on Chagos is concerned. I totally agree with him. We should act as one nation. There should be no division amongst ourselves. Let us not forget, however, that an all-parliamentary committee was set up by the Right Honourable, then Right Honourable Prime Minister, now Minister Mentor. And the reason why this all-parliamentary group was set up as regards our fight to gain back our sovereignty, I form part of that parliamentary committee. The former Prime Minister and former Leader of the Opposition also formed part of that committee with other members of the MMM. Honourable Ganou was in that committee. The Leader of the Opposition was in that committee and other ministers on the other side. But the issue is, and the people should know, why is it that the Right Honourable Minister Mentor did not call the committee for many months, years? Why? It is not a way to tell us, join us, let us fight this as a nation, but I shall not call the parliamentary committee and I'll leave you all in the dark. We shall not be bothered about your opinion with regards to Chagos. We shall not consult, we shall not inform you, what are we doing, what are the steps. We shall not tell you to be one with us, but we tell you we should be one. I recall the speech of Honourable Utim. I was not in Parliament, but then, Madam Speaker, I was watching from afar, since, as I said, I miss being in your presence here amongst all of us. And when I listened to Honourable Utim, when he said, with reason, and I applaud him for having said that we should be thankful not only to the government, which we should be, the government which is also our government. We are Mauritians, all of us. We are thankful for what the government has done. Obviously, we are proud of the win at the United Nations. We are proud that Mauritius has got such a victory. But it saddens us that when you listen to government, there is only one party that's ever done anything for the Chagos community and for the sovereignty issue. And it is the MSM and no other party. No one. If you listen to them, Madam Speaker, without the MSM, nothing has ever been done with regards to the Chagos and the sovereignty issue. You see, they have this ability of changing history or of falsifying history. I am congratulating, and I have always said, when we won, I said congratulations. It was a great victory. But you see, this is my third mandate. When I listen to the speeches pronounced by members on the other side, it's as if they are making an au revoir. I listen to the Honourable Minister Rupan, it's like telling you, this is what I've done, this is what I've achieved. I've listened to other ministers, Honourable Sinatambu. I've listened to other ministers, each and every one of them telling us this is what we've done in 5 years. And basically, it's almost as telling us, and this is the impression I get, that they'll never come back again. This is the impression I got. But for the third time that I'm in this August Assembly, for the third time that I'm here, let me say that it is quite a pity. It is quite a pity.
Should I know whose phone it is?
It was by mistake.
See, I came across, and I like to set history, and allow me that little luxury. I came across the United Nations General Assembly 29th session, Friday, 27th of September 1979, the 2247th plenary meeting of the United Nations. And this session was presided by Abdelaziz Bouteflika of Algeria. And at that session, there was someone who intervened on behalf of the Republic of Mauritius, And that person was no other than Sir Abdul Razak Mohammed, late Sir Abdul Razak Mohammed. And he spoke in Lieu and was asked to speak there on behalf of Mauritius, and he was delegated to go there by the then Prime Minister, Sir Siusagar Ramgoolam. And what he said at paragraph 119, I quote, he talked about the declared a zone of peace by the Assembly 3 years ago, Resolution 2832. The Indian Ocean is at present the scene of dangerous rivalries. And he says, I go on, any decision of the United Kingdom and the United States to extend communications and military facilities on the island of Diego Garcia would constitute a flagrant violation of the United Nations resolutions on the subject. May we appeal to those directly concerned, especially the United States of America, to reconsider their present policy, which certainly, far from being conducive to the creation of a zone of peace, is rather conducive to the creation of one of tension. And he goes on. So others have spoken in favor of sovereignty. And it's important to say congratulations to all, and not only congratulations to the selected few. This has never been spoken of in public in this House. Why is it that ever since 1974, when I was only 6 years old, why is it that I have to wait all those years for me to have myself discovered this? Because we have a habit, as time goes on, of saying whenever X is in government, it's only X that has done everything. When Y is in government, it's only Y. I wonder, therefore, how is it that we managed to survive for what, 50, soon 1 years of independence? 51 years? It is quite a pity that we all have this really bizarre attitude. But anyhow, this is what Mauritius is all about, so be it. Madam Speaker, I have listened with a lot of interest to all members speak. I have listened to the speeches, listened to the debate, listened to the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister of Finance make his speech on the budget. And now we have to ask ourselves, what are we left with? I am of the view that we are left with a divided country. And the reason why this country is so divided, it is precisely because the policies of this government have divided the country. The division and the chasm that exists between the rich and the poor is widening. The rich undoubtedly are getting richer. And I shall explain in a few moments how, through the policies of this government, the rich are getting richer. I have no doubt that the poor are getting poorer. And as far as this middle class that is supposedly most of Mauritius, it is dwindling extremely rapidly. And those facts are because of the policies that are put in practice by this government. We have divided this country, as I've said, between rich and poor, but we've also divided this country into regions. Discrimination when it comes to development. People in the north are treated differently to those in the center. People in the east and the west have a different treatment. People in the south, the downtrodden, as far as job creation is concerned, no treatment whatsoever. People from Rochebois struggling to obtain jobs at the port, but finding that those from other constituencies have easier way into the port. People in this country are divided geographically through policies of this government. We live in a divided country because not only are we divided, as I've said, in matters of rich and poor, geographical division, north, south, east, west, and center. But we are also divided according to political appartenance. You have to belong to a political party in power in order to be able to obtain a nomination. We've heard Honorable Rupan say it. What is wrong if we are to choose amongst ourselves in order to nominate people? But that therein lies the problem. He goes on to say, well, even the MMM, when you were in power, what is wrong when you named those around you? And he could even say that for the Labour Party, and he would not be wrong. But therein lies the problem. When 51 years later on after independence, we still reflect in the same manner that we should always nominate and choose and give jobs to those around us. What nation will be united if we continue to think in that manner? Maybe it was good 10 years back, maybe it was good 20 years ago or 30 years ago, but can it be the recipe for the future? My response to that is no, I hope not. This is not what I share as a philosophy. Let us look at Georgia and how this country has managed to develop. Let's look at Rwanda, how this country has managed to be the champion of Africa after what it's gone through. Let us look at Singapore. Honorable Osman Mohamed shared a document recently with me about what Singapore is and how it's become what it is today. The common denominator between the three countries, Rwanda, Singapore, and Georgia, is what? That they choose people according to their merit. This is the difference. When are we going to become a country where we choose according to merit? This government refuses to change. On this side of the house, our leader, the former Prime Minister, has talked about rupture. And rupture means we have to leave in the past the ways of the past, because the ways of the past are not apt for the future development of our country and will not be good to secure the future of our children. I speak to you not only as a member of parliament, I speak to you not only as le chef de file, which I'm honored to be, of the Labour Party, and I've been so for almost 5 years. It has been an honor. But I speak to you as a father of 3 boys and a husband. I want, like all of us, would like to see that to secure this future of our children. And if we are to use the same mechanisms of the past, we cannot secure the future of the children of this country. Therein lies the difference between the government and us on this side of the house. Division of the country cannot go on. They have divided this country according to the policies of this country between those who work for the public sector and those who work for the private sector. Can you imagine, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, today we hear government coming to propose that 1,000 rupees will be given as from January 2020 to civil servants in advance of the report of the PRB. I have no qualms with the fate of the civil servants and whether they should get 1,000. If it were up to me, they should get more. Because the work they do is commendable. The reason that this country still stands, because of when one takes into account the folly of politicians, is because the civil servants have kept it standing. We should bow to the work of civil servants that have really kept us together, glued as one country, when you take the folly of this nation. Because of politicians who come to say each time, well, we did that, you did not do that, and then I'll explain later on as I develop how this government has harmed this country. Today we give 1,000 rupees to those working in the civil service, but they forget totally those in the private sector. The answer is, I know why. I know why. And I have called myself the National Remuneration Board today. I gave them a call. I wanted to know when the law came on the salaire minimal, minimum salary, minimum wage. There was a clause therein that talked about la relativité salariale. And what people need to understand, c'est que les Mauriciens et les Mauriciennes doivent comprendre que dans la loi qui a été amenée par ce gouvernement sur le salaire minimal, la relativité salariale est une obligation sur le gouvernement. Et c'est quoi exactement la relativité salariale? Il doit, d'après la loi, avoir un réajustement salarial pour tous ceux qui are stuck, sont bloqués sur le salaire avant le salaire minimum. Il doit y avoir un réajustement. Et c'est pour cela, Madame la Présidente, que le ministre du Travail a envoyé une lettre, une requête au National Remuneration Board pour que ce comité puisse travailler sur cela afin que tout le monde puisse avoir une augmentation salariale à travers le réajustement que la loi prévoit. Mais malheureusement, ce que j'ai appris, c'est que l'année dernière, et je crois que l'honorable Balamoudi l'a dit avant moi, l'année dernière, le rapport est prêt depuis l'année dernière. Le rapport a été envoyé au ministre du Travail depuis septembre de l'année dernière. Et ce rapport reste lettre morte, oublié quelque part dans un des tiroirs du ministre du Travail. Ce rapport n'a même pas été amené au cabinet ministériel, et si ce rapport avait été emmené au cabinet ministériel et que le cabinet ministériel, tous les ministres avaient décidé d'implémenter ce rapport, non seulement les travailleurs, les employés du service civil, les fonctionnaires auraient eu 1000 roupies à partir de janvier, mais ceux du secteur privé aussi auraient bénéficié de cette augmentation conséquente qui aurait amené le réajustement à cause de la relativité salariale, qui est dans la loi déjà. Alors, je me pose la question, pourquoi est-ce que le gouvernement a décidé de commettre une discrimination à outrance contre nos frères et sœurs qui travaillent pour le secteur privé? Pourquoi alors avoir favorisé les fonctionnaires? Pourquoi alors créer une animosité entre ceux qui travaillent pour le secteur public et ceux qui travaillent pour le secteur privé? Pourquoi créer une situation où finalement les gens se disent « mais vaut mieux que je vais travailler et devienne fonctionnaire et ça ne vaut plus la peine de travailler dans le secteur privé ». Déjà qu'on a un gros problème de ressources humaines à l'île Maurice, pourquoi alors avoir créé cette discrimination? Why therefore divide the country along a new line between those who work in the civil service and those in the private sector? What we say on this side of the house, que la relativité salariale est un droit qui est dans la loi, c'est la responsabilité. Je vais plus loin, c'est le devoir, c'est une obligation de la part du gouvernement de venir nous expliquer comment se fait-il que ce rapport du National Remuneration Board, qui recommande une augmentation salariale conséquente, qui est une chose normale après qu'il y ait eu l'introduction du minimum wage, que ça doit venir. Pourquoi cela n'a pas été emmené au cabinet ministériel? Et moi, je pense le savoir, c'est parce que le cabinet ministériel veut à tout prix protéger le secteur privé. Il y a au sein du gouvernement, Madame la Présidente, certaines personnes qui oublient qu'ils sont ministres du gouvernement. Il y a certaines personnes qui oublient qu'ils ne sont plus les représentants du secteur privé. Il y a certaines personnes qui sont ministres aujourd'hui, qui ont dans le passé été très proches du secteur privé. Et de ce fait, ils oublient qu'ils doivent laisser derrière eux, dans le temps, cette proximité avec le secteur privé. Mais du fait que le secteur privé ont leurs représentants au sein de ce gouvernement, de ce cabinet, c'est pour cela que ce dossier n'arrive pas à sortir de ce tiroir et être amené vers le cabinet. Et c'est pour cela que ceux qui sont dans le secteur privé n'auront pas cette augmentation salariale qu'ils méritent de par la loi. Et ce n'est même pas une question de demander, c'est leur droit. C'est malheureux. Les employeurs du secteur privé sont protégés par certaines personnes au sein de ce gouvernement. Maintenant, what is really interesting, I don't want to really go into all the details that all my friends have gone before me, because there have been some excellent interventions, Madam Speaker, with regards to what exactly was decided and the promises that have been broken by this actual government. You'll recall Vision 20, the recall Vision 2030 of this government. How can we have forgotten, very briefly I'll go on that, how can we have forgotten what the Right Honourable Prime Minister in those days had said, Sir Anirudh Jagannath? He had promised 100,000 jobs over 5 years. Now, simple mathematics tells us that yes, he should have created, this government, 20,000 jobs a year. Why is it, therefore, that this government has not been able to create 20,000 jobs a year? Why is it that they are so quiet about it? Broken promises. Why is it that they had promised us growth of 5.5% and we could not even achieve 4%? Why is it that when I was on a radio station with Honorable Sinatambu, he said, but the 100,000 was not a promise, it was only a target. In other words, he fails to tell us that it was a target that was promised. It was a target that was promised. It was not, because he can't tell us that there was a speech of the Right Honorable Prime Minister who basically said that was a target that he was not promising. Obviously, when he said that was the target, there was a target that he was promising. And then he went on to promise all sorts of things in terms of, and look at the words he used. He said, the Right Honorable Prime Minister then said, for the whole year 2014, Saniro Jagnadzi, no decision was taken while our national debt spiraled over 250 billion rupees. What exactly should he be feeling today? I wonder. When he was really all up in awe and really angry and really upset about debt spiraling above 250 billion rupees, how should he be feeling today when it's spiraled almost to 350 billion? How should he feel today? I wonder, and when he goes on to say that basically he has identified 4 key areas that he will personally drive, personally. If he has taken personal responsibility, the minister, mentor, therefore he is personally liable if none of them worked. He said that he would address unemployment. And what this government maybe should start answering. You know, it's so easy to come and say that everything is rosy. And I've checked the figures. I'm not inventing figures. Just like the Honorable Leader of the Opposition had started out by saying, when I look at the figures for 2016, why is it that the people who were economically active gone down? En d'autres mots, la masse salariale, le nombre de personnes qui travaillent à l'île Maurice en 2016 chute. Ça veut dire, to simplify it, il y a moins de monde qui travaillait comparé 2015 à 2016. En 2016, il y avait moins de monde qui travaillait et beaucoup plus en 2015. Et quand on regarde maintenant les chiffres de 2018, encore une fois, les chiffres officiels, les statistiques émis par le Bureau des statistiques sous l'égide du ministère des Finances, on voit clairement ici, Madame la Présidente, que, encore une fois, il y avait plus de Mauriciens et Mauriciennes qui travaillaient à Maurice en 2017, et en 2018, le nombre chute. Il y a moins de monde. Alors ce gouvernement, they are so proud about unemployment going down, but where do you expect it to go? Where do you expect it to go if the number of people working in Mauritius has gone down? What do you expect the mathematical results to be? On s'attend à quoi exactement, Madame la Présidente? Si le nombre de personnes qui sont in employment à l'île Maurice a chuté, si le nombre de personnes qui quittent le monde de l'emploi de par leur retraite et que la création d'emplois n'a pas pu rattraper cela, c'est tout à fait logique alors que le nombre de personnes qui sont en emploi, ça chute, ça tombe, mais c'est aussi logique mathématiquement, du moins pour certains, qu'il ne peut avoir autre chiffre qu'une baisse dans le pourcentage de chômage. C'est tout. So, how can they be so proud of this fact? On the contrary, this government should be ashamed that the number of people in employment has gone down. Why is it they are so proud of the number of people in employment going down? And this is why I believe that it is very unfair on their part to come and talk about such facts and be so proud about it. And then I'm thinking about it, and I'll go about that later on, and that's going to be a bit nasty, but I'll talk about it later on. Now, what exactly is going well in the country is when the Honourable Minister Mentor said at page 7 of his Vision 2030, he said, we're going to have a revamped and dynamic manufacturing base. As far as the figures for manufacturing sector is concerned, everything is down. Everything is down. As far as exports is concerned, down. As far as deficit is concerned, down. As far as creation of employment, down. As far as loss of employment is concerned, it's gone up. Scandals are up, yes. But then again, I mean, that is, at least they're constant. The constancy of this government is amazing. They always are regular when it comes to creation of scandals. Imagine each and every time you find a new one coming up. Our country is also divided when it comes to religion. And that is what I've seen. This is my view. Divided when it comes to religion. Can you imagine, Madam Speaker, that everything the government does is only to score political points? You see, they have tried everything in order to give a bad name to their opponents. I understand and look at the way they operate, and I think it's important for people to understand that. They will go to a South with an, and they will say, please give us some money. But now, because I say it about India, they will say, I'm against India. I'm doing India bashing. But they forget that I am closer to India when it comes to my roots than a lot of them are concerned. They forget about that. I have family living in India. I feel at home in India. But I'm a Mauritian at heart. I am a born Mauritian. I am proud of being a Mauritian, and my sovereignty is of utmost importance. I fail to understand. They go to India and say, give us some money. And then they come to Mauritius and play the whole game about, well, you know, since we're so close to the government of India, we therefore, one component of Mauritius should be happy. Then they go, then send someone else to Saudi Arabia. Well, the sheikh is going to see the sheikh, and the sheikh is going to give us another check. All right? And then we should all be shaken by it, and then we should all be happy about it, and then we go, oh, well, you see, Saudi Arabia likes this government, therefore the Muslims should be happy. And then what's really shocking also is the bad taste of this government. You see, Madam Speaker, I've been taught, and all of us, tous les Mauriciens, on est comme ça, on aime accueillir les invités. On sait accueillir les invités. Mais la chose qu'on ne fait jamais, et ça, tous les Mauriciens et les Mauriciennes qui m'entendent aujourd'hui dans cette auguste assemblée vont le comprendre. Quand on invite quelqu'un chez soi, on vient pas lui dire « Bon voilà monsieur, on vous a invité chez moi, ça vous a coûté tant ». On ne le dit pas. On ne va pas inviter quelqu'un chez nous pour venir dîner ou pour venir passer une journée et puis on dit « Monsieur, ça vous a coûté tant et regardez, je vous aime tellement que j'ai vraiment dépensé sur vous ». It doesn't make sense. But it makes sense when Honorable Senator Ambu said, well, you know, those on the other side did not tap la table and their faces dropped because when His Holiness the Pope is going to be called to Mauritius, well, you know, I mean, they were jealous because we called for a public holiday. And he went on to say, well, and we're going to be spending, what was that, 50 million rupees? But why did you have to place it in the budget? Why did you have to, in the budget, come and announce that you're going to go for a public holiday? Why? Why do you have to make this an announcement in the budget if it is not to play politics on the arrival of the Pope? It is to play politics because of his arrival of His Holiness.
I think, Honourable Member, I believe that this matter has amply been debated, and I wouldn't wish that we bring again that question of His Holiness' visit to Mauritius. I believe it's not.
As I've said very clearly what I have to say, I repeat again, I will not go on what this issue of His Holiness is concerned because I think it is a lack of respect to have done what was done, and I think that basically a little request is we should not in any way politicize our foreign relationship with any state, with any person, in order to gain political mileage. This is not what we should do. We've even heard the Commissioner of Police say, I will not leave my office because I have to welcome His Holiness the Pope. My God. I mean, you see, the thing is, Madam Speaker, either we think about a budget that's going to basically bring the people around a common objective. We should not think about party politics, but about the national interest. But here, this budget is nothing else but party politics. Nothing else but party politics. Nothing has been done in order to ensure that there's job creation. Nothing has been done in order to ensure that there's wealth creation. Nothing has been done for a lot of people of this country. I've been walking around my constituency, and I've met with certain people who have asked me to impart certain information to the House as regards budget issue is concerned. You see, they like saying, well, we've given 500 rupees augmentation pour la pension. Good. Congratulations. And the thing is, I asked a very simple question. Et c'est exactement ça que le peuple dehors demande. Et la raison pour laquelle je dis ça, c'est parce que le gouvernement est totalement déconnecté avec la réalité du terrain. Ils sont dans leur tour d'ivoire et ne savent pas exactement ce que les gens disent dehors. Et laissez-moi, ou permettez-moi de leur dire exactement ce que les gens disent. J'ai rencontré un monsieur qui travaille au Training and Employment of Disabled Persons Board. Ce monsieur-là, il travaille au Training and Employment of Disabled Persons Board. Et ce monsieur-là, il habite Paille. Il has got a disability. And what his disability is, he cannot see very well. And he was placed under the Skills Development Program at the switchboard of the Ministry of Social Security on the 23rd of August 2010. We are in 2019. This government says le salaire minimal a été amené. 8,000 or so, salaire minimal. This person is presently on skill development program depuis 2010, bientôt 10 ans. He has no right to have a local leave. He has no right to have a sick leave. He has visual disability. And what is really worse, he is working as a trainee telephone operator since 20th of March 2016, and he is drawing a monthly stipend of only 6,000 rupees a month, transport included. This is a caring government. And this is an official letter. This is an official letter. This is an official letter from the ministry dated the 28th of May 2019. This is how we're treating a disabled person who is working in the Training and Employment of Disabled Persons Board and who is being paid below minimum wage, transport included, for 10 years, and he has not been able to take any local leave and sick leave. So I table this. Sorry? But that is not a question of comparison, for God's sake. Instead of accepting that they can try to sort out this issue, take cognizance of it and try to sort this problem out. This is the whole purpose of the budget, Madam Speaker. To come to à l'aide des gens qui sont en train de souffrir. Et au lieu de cela, on a a Deputy Prime Minister who is trying to basically play on semantics. Please, please, let us try to come down from your ivory tower, and I'll take care of the issue of the Deputy Prime Minister in a few seconds. And I have someone else. You see, this is someone else who basically lives in my constituency. And it is only an example here because many people like this around the island suffer like this person. This person, on the 30th of April of this year, they talk about this caring government, they are helping people out, everyone is happier with them. They are living in a dreamland, their dream. But for the rest of the people, it's a nightmare. This person has lost a leg. It has been amputated. And this person, now that he has lost his leg, that he suffers from various ailments and is on constant treatment, very poor health, we has a discontinuation of his claim for what? For pension. And when he goes to see the doctor tells him, no, but you can get better. What does the doctor of the Ministry of Social Security expect? That his leg is going to grow again? that he expects that his diabetes is going to get better, that his open heart surgery problem will get better, that he will be able to see better, that his kidneys will get better. This is how people out there are suffering while this government are so comfortable in their ivory tower. This is only one sample, Madam Speaker. I've got limited time. I cannot go on about the hundreds who are suffering out there, if not the thousands. I table this one as well. And I hope that they will not try to play politics on it, but try to simply sort out the problem. I hope. I can only hope. Madam Speaker, you see, there is a commonality between Sir Anirudh Jagnnath, Honorable Sir Anirudh Jagnnath, and Honorable Praveen Jagnnath. All that was promised by Sir Anirudh Jagnnath in his Vision 2030, he has never been able to keep his promises. He even promised, as I said, 100,000 jobs. They have never been unable to do it. No. But you know what the common thing is? Even Praveen Jagnnath, I was looking at his budget of 2016 and 2017. And in one of the paragraphs there, paragraph 60, just to take a few examples, he says, we are opening our country to gold business. I don't know if he was referring to Honorable Lakshmi Naraidu. In the meantime, has disappeared. Goldfinger. It's a nice tune to that song, Goldfinger, in the Bond movie. I don't know who was Bond there, but at least it was not them. But where we got bonded, and the poor people ended up being bonded. So we are opening our country to gold business that will encompass a wide spectrum of high-valued added activities. Mon Dieu, ce langage nous impressionne tous. And he goes on, ranging from refinery of gold, producing gold bars, setting up of top-end jewelry processing units, vault facilities, trading gold, bullions. Mon Dieu. Avec cela, mais juste avec ça, we become the new Qatar or the new Abu Dhabi. Oh, the new Switzerland, our friends the Swiss with their gold little bullions, and us the Mauritians trying to be good as them. Why not? But where are these gold bullions? Has it disappeared with Honorable Lakshmi Naraidu and the dream of this miracle that we were supposed to have? He should have been searched before he resigned. And what about paragraph 61 of that same budget, the 2016 et 2017? Indian delegation presently in Mauritius has expressed an interest in setting up several manufacturing projects in Mauritius. Et je me demandais, mais voilà la promesse de notre cher Premier ministre, dynamique et vraiment qui garde ses promesses. Alors en 2016-2017, il a promis monts et merveilles. Il a dit qu'il y a une délégation indienne à Maurice qui allait commencer des usines de production de bicyclettes et de motocyclettes. Il a dit en 2016-2017 que ce projet va être pour l'exportation de ces produits vers l'Afrique et que cela va créer des milliers d'emplois. Where is the bicycle? Where is the motorcycle? Madam Speaker, laissons tomber les bicyclettes ou les motocyclettes. Not even one tire, not even a jaunt, not even a jaunt has been manufactured in Mauritius. Jaunt pan faire. So, when I think about it, where is it? Where? And what he goes on to say, paragraph 62, to further diversify our manufacturing sector. What does he say? He will diversify our manufacturing sector. A pharmaceutical village.
On a point of order, the honourable member started very nicely, and that one of the words he just used is not. No, the pronunciation is insulting. I would ask him to withdraw that word.
If he basically, I don't know what he means. No.
I take the point of the Honourable Minister. Let me say that speech, freedom of speech is one of the most important privileges enjoyed by members of Parliament. But I believe that this freedom should be well utilized and that it should be within the decorum and the dignity of the House. You've used a word. The Honorable Minister has raised a question or an objection on this one. I believe that you should withdraw that word.
If this is the impression they got, I do apologize and I withdraw it. Fair enough. So, to basically come back to the issue of bicycles never have been manufactured, motorcycles never been manufactured, but we go on. What about the pharmaceutical village, which will be set up in Rosebel and the local markets? Nothing. And for tourism sector, the Minister of Finance en 2016-2017 a dit that he is going to set up the world-class aquarium. Where is it? The world-class aquarium. Not even a basin. Where's the National Museum? Where is the new leisure attraction pour encourager les touristes pour arriver à Maurice? I, at some stage, saw our good ministers who were once upon a time trying to emulate Baywatch on a beach. I don't know whether this was meant to be a tourist attraction or not, but it didn't really work. And as far as the tourist industry is concerned, it is really suffering. So what exactly is in this budget? Madam Speaker, I went to my constituency and met certain people, women. And since you are responsible and take it at heart, the issue of gender caucus, allow me to talk about me meeting a lot of women in my constituency, all of them mostly above the age of 60. A lot of them being widows. And a lot of them who are living in very, very difficult situations, in rooms maybe 2 meters by 3, being their home. I met some people who are disabled, alités, mais à l'âge de 65 ans. Maybe the message goes to the Honorable Minister of Social Security. People who are 65 years old do not get an allocation to buy adult nappies because they have to wait the age of 70. You'll see, we learn things. You see, the Honorable Minister believes he's helping people who are poor. Why is it that les couches pour les adultes, les gens qui n'ont pas 70 ans ne pourront pas avoir une allocation pour acheter des couches pour adultes? Ils doivent attendre l'âge de 70 ans. And people who are under the age of 70, they can't afford it. And this lady I'm talking about, not only one, many of them, they live, this is the situation. I contacted the Social Security Office. I spoke to the Social Security Commissioner, and I spoke to them, help this lady. He said, Honorable Mohamed, I cannot do anything because the guidelines are very simple. Once upon a time it was 75, now it's 70, we cannot help. She'll have to wait 5 years. So she'll have to wait on NGOs to help her out. She'll have to wait on the generosity of people. Thank God they are around, the Mauritians, but government is oblivious to the reality. And what about this budget? Let's look at Honorable Jagrou, Minister for Housing. What is in there with regards to helping people who cannot find an accommodation? Those who are widows, whom their husbands have died, they do not work, they live on a small pension, they have a rented accommodation. What is in there for them? They will say, well, they are vulnerable people. Supposedly they are supposed to be on a list where people help them. But how come those whom I've met are not even on any list? How come no one has visited them? How come the government has forgotten about them? And those are just a sample of the reality. The government comes here to talk about big figures, enjoy the figures. But in reality, in practice, les gens, Madame la Présidente, sont en train de souffrir. Ils sont en train de souffrir de pauvreté, de difficultés. Les chiffres peuvent satisfaire le gouvernement. Les chiffres peuvent satisfaire leur ego. Mais la réalité est que les gens souffrent. Le prix des commodités a augmenté. You have prices of food have gone up. Prices of les denrées alimentaires have gone up. And people cannot really survive on what the government is giving them. Pittance. And this is what's really hurt. Today, why this budget has not really been successful in the eyes of the public is because they expected more. Not because they are greedy, parce que le peuple a besoin de plus. Le peuple a besoin d'un gouvernement qui connaît les réalités. et qui oublient qu'ils commencent à descendre de leur taux d'ivoire et marcher avec le petit peuple. Madame la Présidente, I'd like to address an issue which I've seen in the press, which is in l'Express of mercredi le 19 juin 2013. It's entitled « Refus des IPP de contribuer 300 millions roupies au Consolidated Fund ». I've seen another document in Le Mauricien du 10 juin à 10 heures. Secteur économique en crise. Le sucre, that's the title in Le Mauricien. Le sucre, un couteau à double tranchant. And the title is, or the subtitle, un war chest de 430 millions, dont 320 millions du CEB pour alimenter le Sugarcane Sustainability Fund en faveur des petits planteurs. And it talks about Alteo Energy. So this got me to become quite curious. And in the press of yesterday, a letter from Omnicane is referred to about the tension between Government House and the ministry and Alteo and the sugar sector, Terra or Omnicane and Alteo. 6th of June 2019, the Mauricien of yesterday makes reference to a letter that is written to the Prime Minister by the representatives of Omnicane, Terra and Alteo. And yesterday, I was not here in this assembly. I saw that my good friend, Honorable Osman Mohamed, tried to raise an issue at adjournment time, not contesting in any way what Madam Speaker said. We bow to your ruling that it was not appropriate to raise this at adjournment time. We have no issues with that. We are not at adjournment time. We are at debates now. And I have in my possession, and in the name of, it's a national issue. It's a national issue of such national importance that I think that I cannot keep quiet on that because I owe it to the people of this country not to hide information that has come to my possession. A letter written on the 19th of February 2019 from the Central Electricity Board, signed by Mr. Makun, Acting General Manager.
If I may rise on a point of order, I assume that the honourable gentleman is going to raise a matter which relates to a confidential document written by the CEB to some other person or authority relating to Alteo. If that is the case, let me just state as a matter of principle that this, in my opinion, is out of order because it relates to a matter, to a commercial agreement which is still under discussion at the level of experts and committees in which I am not involved, and I wouldn't be able to rebut or respond, as these negotiations are strictly confidential. Whatever means he has resorted to obtain it, this is not our problem, but he cannot make a public disclosure of a confidential document.
If I may just respond with your permission briefly to what he said. First of all, I have perused all the points of orders that exist in the standing orders. And none of the standing orders, point of orders chapter make reference to anything that the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister is referring to. And let me say something else, that I do not understand why, before even allowing me to continue, the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister is defending himself by saying he's not involved.
No. Honourable Member, let me say that I concede that this is not a point of order. Well, if you've got information and if you can table the information, well, I don't see why you shouldn't do it.
I thank you, Madam. Now, Madam Speaker, I will table the information. Now, you see, I'm not giving way anymore, Madam Speaker. I'm not giving way anymore. Madam Speaker, with all due respect, I thank you for your ruling, and I will follow your advice and table the document, which I believe is sound advice. Madam Speaker, 19th of February 2019, the Central Electricity Board writes a letter to the Chief Executive Officer of Alteo Energy Limited, 4th floor IBL House, Cordon Waterfront, Portland. And in that letter, he says, and I will table the letter, I have a copy here which I'll table. And I have several copies. It's not an issue. And now that letter, what does it say? It basically says that there was a meeting on the 18th of February 2019, not at the Central Electricity Board. And now I understand why the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister stands up and tries to take a point of order that's not a point of order. The meeting that took place between Alteo Energy and the Central Electricity Board was not at the Central Electricity Board. It was not with a negotiating panel set up in the power purchase agreement that the contract says there should be a negotiating panel, clearly with nominated members thereon. But it was, where did the meeting take place? I see Honorable Sudan starting to smile, maybe he's aware. At the Ministry of Energy and Public Utilities.
No. Honorable Member, I will ask you to assume responsibility for the facts that you are bringing forward. Because I think that any honorable member of this House should refrain from referring to rumors, as you know that it doesn't render the House better off. So you will assume the full responsibility of the facts that you are bringing forward.
Yes, Madam Speaker, once again, I'm in total agreement with what you've just said. It is my responsibility to assume full responsibility. And that took place, and I do assume full responsibility. Because those documents are genuine documents, signed by the Acting General Manager, and this confirms that this meeting took place, and the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister cannot say he was not aware, because it took place at the Ministry of Energy and Public Utilities, in presence of CB officers and representatives of Alteo Energy Limited on the above project. And it says therein that it's already been agreed. It's already been agreed. And the Deputy Prime Minister says there's no agreement. It says here, we wish to confirm the following. Look at this language. The CEB confirms the following. That was already agreed at that meeting au Ministère of Public Infrastructure and Public Utilities and Energy. It says the granting of a 3-year extension with a minimum of 170 gigawatt with no excess energy. Paragraph 1. Paragraph 2. Trash energy will be remunerated at 4.45 per kilowatt hour fixed during the 3-year extension.
Can I look from which document you are quoting?
The one I just tabled.
So if you are quoting from that document, then I will tell you that I will study that document before accepting whether it can be tabled or not, because if it is tabled, then it becomes public. So I will later on give a ruling on that document as to whether it is acceptable.
I'm sorry, I will make a reference to the document. I assume responsibility. This is the role of my parliamentarian, and this is what Madam Speaker, you're right. I assume responsibility totally and fully with what I'm saying here today, because this is a document which is a genuine document. If you, Madam Speaker, believe that I should not table it, I will bow to what your ruling is. But I still would make reference to it, and I can read through it. And I will continue, because parliamentary...
Point of order.
What is the point of order?
Well, wait for my point of order. I'm taking a point of order. Since you, Madam Speaker, have reserved the ruling on that letter, you cannot now quote from that letter.
I request both honourable members to sit down. As I said, Honourable Shakeel Mohamed, I have said that I reserve my ruling on the document that you've just tabled, right? So if you're making reference to that document, it becomes public. If you're reading from that document, it becomes public. But if it is tabled and I accept it, it will of course become public. But you cannot refer to it if I have reserved my ruling on it.
Madam Speaker, let me go. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister does not want the people of this country to know that trash energy has already been agreed upon by the Central Electricity Board through meetings at his office where he was present. What the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister does not want us to know is that the Alteo has been promised ₹4.45.
Mohamed, please, please. I have said that I will study that document and then I'll come with a ruling. Please, please, I would request you not to refer to that document for the time being.
Madam Speaker, I promise you I will turn the document upside down. Memory. Not refer to it.
No.
Yeah?
Now, please, Honorable Mohamed, once again, I will request you not to refer to that document for the time being until I have given my ruling on that document.
Madam Speaker, I hope the Deputy Prime Minister will stop being jittery when I now refer to what he said, and so touchy. I wonder what he's trying to hide from us. I wonder. Let's all wonder what he doesn't want us to know. And Bashir, thank you very much. Thank you, Bashir. By the way, Bashir is someone whom I respect, the Honorable Bashir Jahangir, because he is a man of conviction and also is of the same opinion. So here, when we look at what was said in this particular document, which is Hansard of the 18th of June 2019, in that document, when Honorable Osman Mohamed put a question to the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, what did he say? He said, what I know is that there are technical meetings which are being held, then everything will come to a management committee of the ministry, and at that time, we will study, and of course, we will come to cabinet. What I say here is that this was already decided upon and behind the back of cabinet. The Prime Minister is not even aware of it, I presume, and this was decided behind the back of cabinet. And what I ask myself,
is it the suggestion that the agreement was made with my knowledge? Yes. Well, then I will ask the honourable member to withdraw it. First of all, because there is no implication that I have been implicated in any agreement of that kind. I was not even aware of it, and I say it under the solemnity of this House. What he is suggesting is that what the General Manager of the CEB has written was that I am aware. He's got no right to do this.
This is a point of personal explanation, right? The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister has raised the point of personal explanation. Which I never gave way to. All right? But you've given way, you sat down, right? So be it.
I'll go. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And what I'm saying here is, what is going on was of utmost interest. It's of utmost interest. What is interesting here is that the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister objects to me producing a letter and does not want the people of this country to know what's in the letter. He takes objection. I will wait for your Madam Speaker's ruling on it.
I'm sorry, he hasn't objected.
I
have taken the letter in my possession so that I can give you a
but
ruling
prior to that, Madam Speaker, he stood up on 2 occasions and objected. He did not want even me to make reference to what's in the letter. He doesn't want me to even make reference to the fact that this letter was copied to his permanent secretary. And he is telling us today, let's forget about the letter for a minute. Can you imagine, you want to watch at my time whether I have enough time to finish and continue nailing your coffin? This is what you want to watch? Madam Speaker, I cannot be gagged. The people cannot, this cannot be hidden. We cannot hide from the people what the truth is. And this is what he's trying to do. A man sitting in a constitutional position. And what I'd like to say about this is today, without even reference to the document, I say it, that this minister has agreed with Alteo, with whom he has links from before.
This is not only incorrect, it is imputing motives to which I strongly...
If that continues, then I'll suspend the sitting and I'll come back with my ruling. Okay? So I suspend the sitting for a few minutes. I have perused the document, and I have further taken note that the said document has already appeared in one of the dailies yesterday. In the circumstances, it does not serve any purpose to object to the tabling of the document. Moreover, another issue to be decided is whether the statement made by the Honorable Shakeel Mohamed to the effect that the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister is aware and has already agreed on the fixing of the price of trash energy on the basis of the said document. According to the Honorable Shakeel Mohamed, this contrasts with the assertions made by the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister in a recent parliamentary question and earlier today that the fixing of the price of trash energy is still at negotiation stage, and further, according to him, once negotiations have been concluded, the matter still needs to go through Cabinet before being finalized. On the basis of the stand of the Deputy Prime Minister, it appears that there is a disconnect between the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister and the Ministry of Energy and Public Utilities. In the circumstances, I hold that it would not be in order for the Honorable Shakeel Mohamed to make the inference from the document which is being tabled that the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister is aware that the price of trash energy has already been fixed, and that he's asserting the contrary. Honorable Shakeel Mohamed, I would invite you now to conclude your intervention in as much as the time allocation has already been exhausted.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. With your permission, I will bow to your ruling, and I'm not in any way challenging that. If I may, with your permission, request on a lighter note some injury time of 2 minutes, and then I'll conclude my speech. But just injury time of 2 minutes. We are not at all injured. Once again, I mean, if it pleases the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister to believe that we are injured, so much, if it pleases him, no problem. Just to say that there is two issues rapidly I'd like to raise within the 2 minutes, and I'm looking at it before 21:20. There is a document which is also rightly referred to by Madam Speaker, the 26th of February 2019. The offer of Central Electricity Board is accepted by Alteo in a letter dated the 26th of February, addressed to the same acting manager, and I tabled this document as well, which is already public anyway, made in Le Mauricien yesterday. So the offer is made by CB and it's accepted. And what's even worse is that of the 445 per kilowatt hour, 1 rupee only goes to the Tiplanterre. 1 rupee only goes to the Tiplanterre, and 345 goes to Alteo. Now, I am not going to make any remarks or conclusions on that. I'll let the people judge. Now I finish on this.
After my ruling,
yes, I will not. Finish on this is, I just wanted to rapidly talk about the independence of the Bank of Mauritius. You will recall, Madam Speaker, here I wanted to make reference to what the governor of the Bank of Mauritius said with regards to the reserve. I believe that there is no independence anymore, and it is a sad day for Mauritius that there is no longer an independence of the Bank of Mauritius. Let us not forget, and I'll table two documents here of the Bank of Mauritius. The first one, both of them dated the 2nd of April 2015. And on those dates, this is the same now governor of the bank who were given a delay until to Brahma Bank, and on the same day withdrew the delay. In my humble opinion, on the same date when you have Mr. Gugulai issuing two letters, and I tabled those two documents with regards to Brahma Bank, clearly forgetting about his independence, and then getting a promotion and becoming governor of the bank, I let the people judge how there was political intervention in the BAI affair. On this note, let me now conclude by saying that, Madam, I have managed to establish one fact, is that whatever the government says, is only words, but in practice they do something else altogether different. We believe in transparency. This government has tried to hide information. I believe that a new day and a new dawn has come for there to be a real transparency in administration of government. Now, I understand that what I've done today hurts government, but as long as it helps the people, our party stands by the people, and we will always do that. That's been our history, and that is our tradition, and we will stick to that. Long live Mauritius. Thank you very much.
I suspend the sitting for 1 hour.